So now, what is your take on the moving forward? I'm here with Jordan Chariton from TYT Politics. Ron Placone is with us. Also, Hank Thompson is here. I wanted to, you're one of the hot new up and coming journalists on the scene. You're making a name for yourself by doing actual journalism, which we're all proud of. And really, really am, honest to God. It did. So you make the Young Turks look good, so that's a good thing.
Well, I want to let you know, Jimmy, there's a lot of water protectors disappointed they didn't see you. I told them that you'll be coming when the weather gets a little nicer for a comedy routine.
I was disappointed not to be able to go. And it's not. In my former life, I was a badass, and now I'm not anymore. And so it's for many, many, many. I know, I feel... Anyway, so we'll talk about that. I don't want to go into it. Nobody likes to hear about people's physical problems, so we won't. But anyway, I might even go anyway. Well, we'll see what happens. So I just for you to know, I was just as disappointed that I couldn't go there as they were that I didn't go. So, but I did do a fundraiser that week, right before I did a fundraiser for the medics. Lauren Steiner put it together, and we raised $5,000, and we sent it in to help the medics who are there helping the people at Standing Rock. So I am doing my part. So
hey, I love you.
I'm getting some things done. Anyway, let's move on. Jordan Chariton, and I want to know how you feel about. I was a big fan of Keith Olbermann, and I probably still am. But he's falling into that trap that a lot of people are falling into of going nuts about Russia, Putin, and this Red Scare because he hates Trump so much. What do you feel about the media and how they're treating this unconfirmed story based on anonymous sources inside the CIA? Even if you weren't anonymous and you're in the CIA, you're a proven liar. That's what you're paid to do. It's okay. You're a liar. You're in the CIA. That's what you're supposed to do. You're a spy. But B, if you're an anonymous liar, you can't even repeat that lie and call yourself a journalist. But that's what's been happening. What do you think about all this?
Well, first on Keith Olbermann, when I was a couple years ago when he was on MSNBC, I love the guy.
Yeah,
but watching him his most recent video, I got to tell you, if you turned around and you weren't looking, it sounded like Glenn Beck on Fox News. I mean, it was like deranged, the rantings of a lunatic. I think Olbermann in particular has. I don't know if he's just doing it because GQ is his little test case to get back on TV. I don't know his personal why he's going off the rails right now, but it's unhinged, and it's a little like Olbermann and a lot of these people who have Trump derangement syndrome. It's kind of like clickbaity. They're trying to establish right now, like I'm on the front lines against Trump, so you need to come to me. It's a little bit of like a Fox News tactic, how they were when Obama was elected. So I think
yes,
Olbermann in particular, I think the worst thing you could do is even you're giving Trump what he wants. Trump wants to be looked at as an authoritarian and this scary figure, when in reality he's just he's a bullshit artist. He's a con artist. I'm happy to say when I'm wrong, but I don't see him getting people on trains headed to their deaths just yet. So I think people need to relax.
Oh, really?
On Russia?
Really?
I don't see it.
Yeah, he's not. There hasn't been a Sophie Choice movie made yet about. I'm with you 100% on this stuff. So go ahead, keep going.
On Russia, I got to tell you, I was in Standing Rock and I was laser focused on that, so I didn't get to do anything on it. I got back. I literally turned on CNN literally for 3 minutes, and it's like. I was young, but it's like the Cold War on steroids. It's insane. I got to tell you, the same journalists that, took a vacation from cynicism, investigation in the build-up to the Iraq War are the same ones on TV and on Twitter right now saying, oh, we need to do sanctions against Russia. We need to strike back, maybe a cyber attack, maybe special advisors down in Russia. Nobody has learned their lesson. Listen, the bottom line, I read the New York Times piece. I've read a lot of this stuff. It's a possibility Russia was involved in this. I don't see any concrete evidence because President Obama and his intelligence community haven't declassified the evidence. He's called for an investigation to commence before he leaves office. Well, let us see the evidence before we have wall-to-wall 24/7. It's not convincing evidence when two private security firms hired by the Democratic National Committee tell you, yeah, these came from Russian IP addresses and most likely Russia. You know what private security firms have an interest in? Giving you what you want, so you'll keep them on the payroll. I mean, this is 101, and it's scary to me that, I mean, it's not like the Iraq War was 50 years ago. This was less than 2 decades ago, and nobody has learned their lesson. There's very few people, you know, the Amy Goodmans of the world, the Glenn Greenwalds of the world, you, me, who look at this very suspiciously, but you don't start wagging the tail at a nuclear power that they tried to affect your election unless you have a smoking gun in front of you. And I see NBC News reporting now that, oh, now we have evidence that Vladimir Putin personally was orchestrating it. What's their evidence? The CIA tells them. That's not concrete evidence. So it's to the point where it's like yellow journalism. There's another element real quickly. The mainstream media and corporate Democrats, you know what they'd rather not talk about? The fact that they can't continue to bow down to special interests. They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about that the establishment candidate that personifies that whole party, who gives favors out to banks, to oil companies, to pharmaceutical companies. They don't want to address why she lost, because then they'd have to actually change their ways. So instead, they're trying to distract the public with Russia. That's what's going on.
I couldn't agree. That's what I've been saying on this show. That's what I've been reporting. I've been telling people, how dare you take the word of anonymous CIA people and put it. That is shoddy journalism at its worst. Washington Post did it. The New York Times is doing it. MSNBC is just a worthless place to go for information. You know, at least the Republicans had the guts to do an autopsy after 2012. The Democrats don't even have the guts to look themselves in the mirror. Instead of right now what we should be doing from now up until the inauguration, which is doing an autopsy on what's wrong with the Democratic Party and trying to figure out how we move forward and what we need to do and who needs to be in place and how we need to change things. They're not doing any of that stuff. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, right back in power, and Nancy Pelosi says Democrats don't want to change in direction. They don't want that, which is a losing strategy, and the Democrats, again, are going to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And just like they did with Donnie Tiny-Hands, they're going to do it again. And so now we're talking about Russia and people like Paul Krugman are doing it. And of course people like Brian Williams are doing it. That guy's just a suit model with a fucking microphone. And but you know, of course, the horrible people like Joy Reid and oh my God, the fact that she's allowed on a news station, like they got rid of, look at who the MSNBC gets rid of, right? They get rid of Melissa Harris Perry and they replace her with Joy Reid. Joy Reid's a maniac.
Jimmy, MSNBC is literally, I saw a commercial this morning. They're doing commercials to show how many Republicans they have on air.
Yes.
This is MSNBC.
Yeah, they're taking out ads.
It's crazy.
They took out an ad like boasting that they're going further to the right.
Yeah, they took out ads. I think I showed it to Jenk the other day that they're boasting that they're going to the right. Go ahead, Jordan.
And also, I don't know if you saw this. Thank God I did a video. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. Harry Reid just compared the Russian hacking to 9/11. I mean, this is the current Democratic majority leader who, you know, they gave a fond farewell. Hillary came out of witness protection program to come sing him adieu. He just compared this to 9/11 and Watergate. I just saw Chuck Todd even try to make a connection with Snowden. Maybe Snowden, who's been in Russia for years, maybe this was something to do with retribution. Maybe Snowden was involved. I mean, it's like lunacy. Wow. And honestly, the Chuck Todds of the world, Chuck Todd has no interest on Meet the Press on Sunday talking about campaign finance reform, talking about, maybe we need to examine single payer. Maybe we need to examine why Donald Trump someone like Donald Trump could convince working class people in Michigan to vote for him. They don't want to do that. They want to cover the horse race and this week's narrative. And the narrative for them is very simple. Russia. And by the way, let's not forget, most high level officials in the CIA and the FBI, they're older. So they kind of came up during this Cold War. That's why Hillary Clinton and the Democrats in the waning days of the primary tried to stoke this Russia stuff. They were trying to get their older voters out who remember this Cold War hysteria, and it kind of rekindles some fears inside older Americans. Not all older people, but most older people who grew up in the Cold War have certain stereotypes about Russia. So if the CIA is slam dunk, it was Russia. The FBI, I think, has disagreed somewhat. Most of these CIA people are predisposed to blame everything on something like Russia, someplace like Russia. And by the way, to me, the most important thing, John Podesta's emails were hacked in March. This happened in March. Well, last time I checked, Trump didn't have the nomination wrapped up in March. It was still competitive. So were they trying to help Trump in March when they supposedly hacked Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman? No. It's all conjecture. It's all corporate Democrats like Harry Reid, Chuck Schumer trying to say, if something changed here or there, Harry Reid blames Comey, calls him a Republican operative. It's not that the Democrats have a fatal flaw. It's that Comey screwed us, Russia screwed us, and everything's fine. Just back to business. We'll go after Trump and we'll win in 4 years. That's what they want you to think.
Hey, we're doing another live Jimmy Dore show the day after Christmas, December 26th. We're doing a live Jimmy Dore show in Burbank, California. Come see it. There's a link for tickets right there.